Yep, good training, boys. Just keep doing those laps and just working on those slight technical tweaks that I've made, okay? Because just I feel like we can step things up a bit, okay? Just do that on the field way over there, because I'm just gonna see why I haven't found out about the Club World Cup draw yet. Like seriously, do I need to try and find another job? Because how are we not going? It's supposed to be happening today. It's supposed to be happening today. Who else could go from New Zealand? Oh, text, thank you. The draw will be taking place in 5 minutes. Live. Fellas, we're going to the Club World Cup. Pot one. And we're a pot one team. Oh, absolute scenes. Finally.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 131 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Tech. I hope you're doing well, and come up today, we're going to play the Dunedin City Royals in the Southern League, but more importantly, we're going to the FIFA Club World Cup finally. Let's have a look at the draw and also who will be taking on in that competition come the start of next week. So if you're looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday we picked up our 8th straight Champions League here in Oceania at Cashmere Tech. If you missed that one where we played Lautoka, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. To be fair, not too sure if that had any impact on us qualifying for this tournament. I think this might be from when we won it the first time around, but thankfully we are actually going to the FIFA Club World Cup. Unfortunately, I can't show you all the teams who are going because on the team screen of this competition, it actually shows you what group you're going to go into. So I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I kind of already know what's about to happen. Sort of. I saw what was going on, then went straight out of it. It was a little bit weird how that's happened. Definitely a bit of a bug here with the FIFA Club World Cup. But as you can see, we are one of 13 teams that have been seeded in Pot 1, which is very surprising, albeit, I suppose, 8 straight Champions Leagues. Maybe I shouldn't be so surprised. But you can see some of the other teams. We've got Chelsea, Liverpool, PSG, must be some Saudi teams, and some Spanish ones as well, no doubt. The likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. So let's see who would be taking on it as groups of 4. So it'll be 3 games for us. We'll probably only get that far, honestly, but let's see who we will get in this competition. Let's see what group that we do end up in. There is all of Pot 1. If you are wondering, there's going to be lots of teams. I won't run through all the pots, but Pot 2, a couple of Saudi teams there. Supersport United, I think we could take them if we got them. Pot 3 is Deportivo Guadalajara, I'm pretty sure, from Mexico. Another Mexican team and Saudi team in Pot 4, and Pot 5, Saudi Arabia. And that doesn't quite look like enough teams for this competition, so I'm not really too sure how this draw works. We'll just bang through it. Group A starts off with Chelsea, who I'm pretty sure I saw before, the defending champions. Group B, Colo Colo out of Chile, the former club of Marco Rojas in real life these days, back at the Phoenix, like the good lad he is. Liverpool are in Group C. Group D, that will be Inter Milan, and Group E is the home to the big dogs in Cashmere Technical. Group F, let's see who goes in this one. It's Junior FC out of Colombia, I want to say. I'm pretty sure that's where they're from my time in the Hexagon Challenge a few years ago. Group G, that is Botafogo out of Brazil, and Group H, that is topped by ES Tunis, as the name suggests, out of Tunisia. Now going forward to the second seeds for these groups. Group A, Al Shabab joined Chelsea. Group B, Colo Colo joined by PSG, so thankfully didn't get them. That would be a bit tough on us with Cashmere Tech. Group C, Liverpool are joined by Wydad Casablanca out of Morocco. Inter, they get joined by Athletic Club, who definitely weren't in one of those pots. That's a team that have just made their way into this Club World Cup. Now let's see who we get. Porto, that would actually be quite interesting with Josh Pickering playing for those guys these days. Apparently that's who we could get, but instead we get Flamengo from Brazil. That's going to be quite tough. Let's see what their team looks like off the back of the rest of this draw. Porto going Group F, so to be fair, Josh Pickering could have a good time at that tournament. Botafogo are joined by Al Ali. We do George McDonald and Adam White over in Saudi Arabia as well in terms of all whites. It could be a bit of a New Zealand presence at this Club World Cup. In AC Milan, they joined Tunis in Group H. Supersport United go into Group A. Group B, Cashmere Tech out of Japan. Apologies if I butchered that name, Al Ittihad. They go into Group C. Group D, the Columbus Crew from the MLS. In Group E, we get the pot-free team in Deportivo Guadalajara out of Mexico. The other third seeds that go into these groups, Barcelona in Group F, so maybe not quite as easy for Josh Pickering as we thought there with Porto. Group G, Club America from Mexico, good team, make their way into that group. In Group H, just the smaller matter there of Real Madrid being drawn alongside AC Milan. So Real Madrid, unseeded team, still get to go to the Club World Cup. At least I'm pretty sure they were unseeded. Ajax into Group A, so really them and Chelsea look the favourites for that group. Group B, PSG joined by Man City. Might be a bit tough there on the South American and the Asian team. This one, Freiburg go in there. That could be quite interesting. I think they actually were in the same group as Liverpool last time around 4 years ago, so maybe that is a repeat there. Not that we care about it too much because we're probably going to get grouped, truth be told. Group D, River Plate. That's a very interesting group there with Athletic Club as well as Inter Milan. Now, who will join us that we don't know about? Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. I think that might be the club of Adam White. That could be quite interesting, playing against one of my All Whites and our former players. But to be fair, they do all sound quite similar to Saudi club names. That might be a mistake. Group F, Toronto FC. Good luck, fellas. You're going to need it in that group with Barca and Porto. Group G, RB Leipzig. To be fair, they probably actually look like one of the favourites now for that group. And the final team is Valles. They go into that tough group alongside Real Madrid and AC Milan. So those are the groups. We're in Group E. We've got Flamengo, Deportivo Guadalajara, and Al Hilal. So to be fair, we do avoid the European clubs. And based on our form of the All Whites, that might be quite good. Let's just have a look at these teams who we have got. We'll just click forward here and see what pops up in the inbox. Let's just go back to the right screen. Indeed, we have apparently been handed a tough group. Al Hilal, they're up first. The Saudi League, of course, not playable, but they are taking part in the AFC Champions League. And it looks like they won the final of that, and that was over Changchun Yatai out of China. So they are the current Asian champions. Al Hilal, let's just have a look at their team. I can already see their key player, Bruni Baji, and managed by Steve Cooper. For some reason, wasn't expecting that. But 14 games played this season, they only lost one. And they did get past another couple of Saudi clubs in the knockouts as well. So they might be the pick of these Saudi clubs. Bruni Baji is their key player. He looks pretty good even at 31 years old, off bigger spells at Chelsea and Real Madrid. Who else have they got in their books? Let's just have a look here who they might have, who we know about. Not too sure about the first three, but then it gets quite interesting with the likes of Ilya Zabanye, pretty good Ukrainian centre-back. If only we have players with those sort of attributes, even at 34 years old, he looks like a beast. Also, alongside him, Josko Vardiol. So that is a pretty lethal centre-back partnership. He looks even better. Or we're in danger in that game. Also, Baji as well as Wilfred Nonto, also looking pretty good. The former Leedsman in the save, Everton as well. And as well as that, they've got Pedri, formerly of Barcelona, must just signed in this past year, 34 years old, but these players still look ridiculously good. So Al Hilal, probably a bit too strong for us, it's fair to say. The first team will take on from this group, the other players, all Saudi Arabians, we won't know too much about. There is a Norwegian there in Tobias Gullikson. He looks pretty good as well, and he's a player I'd never heard of, honestly, even though in this save he's got over 100 caps for Norway. So, Al Hilal might be a bit tough. Let's just go back here and see what's going on with Deportivo Guadalajara out of Liga MX in Mexico. They're not looking quite so hot, albeit I say that they did give Atlanta United a tough time there in the CONCACAF Champions League, albeit they did actually lose that one on away goal. So to be fair, they didn't go too deep in that competition. Just having a look at the players, they're a little bit lower reputation than we just saw there with Al Hilal. And looking at the players in their squad, let's see if there's anything too notable. it's a bunch of Mexicans. Just going to sort this out now and transfer value and see if any of these guys do look quite good. For some reason, this guy down the bottom is on our shortlist, but to be fair, can't see many of those attributes. Not too sure what he is about. Let's go up top here and see what Dario Velaldes, the defensive midfielder, looks like. And again, we can't really see too much. 2 caps in Mexico, but to be fair, Mexico kind of similar to New Zealand, let's say, in terms of international-wise, and they're all Mexican players. This could potentially be a winnable game for us at the Club World Cup. I'm probably going to sound stupid for saying that, and especially because I can't see those attributes. Maybe these players are a lot better than they actually are with these hidden attributes, and especially the wages. Some of them are quite high, especially this bloke here in Guadalupe de la Torre, albeit he might be injured for the Club World Cup. Actually won't be, should be back in time. He does look a bit tidier with attributes that we can see, but definitely that looks like a weaker team than Al Hilal, albeit they will be a bit younger and probably a bit fitter. So maybe that's the team we target to pick up a win against, but even then, that might be a bit tough. And last up, it is Flamengo, who you think would be the big guns in this group. Not too sure how they're getting on in the Copa Libertadores. Let's just see what's happened in their history. When did they last win that? It was in the year, once we get there right, of 2036. So it was last year, and they won it the 2 previous years as well. So definitely the big guns over there in South America. 4.5-star reputation club. Lionel Scaloni in charge. Not a bad manager. World Cup winner with Argentina and all that. So definitely a good manager there will be taking on. And looking at the players they do have in their squad, to be fair, not too many that they have over there. I think Brazil is a non-playable league, or might be view only in this save, so maybe that will help us out. But to be fair, their transfer value is quite high. Leandro Santos around the 40 million mark. I don't think it looks quite as good as some of those players we saw at Al Hilal, but still a lot better than what we've got at Cashmere Tech. Also Sebastião, who is a right winger, a little bit older as well, but pretty good attribute-wise. I think Flamengo might be a tough one for us. Also, Mauro Bahia is wanted by some Saudi clubs, including Al Hilal, and he does look pretty good as a centre-back there, does the Argentinian, with quite a few caps. So I think Flamengo and Al Hilal probably the favourites to make their way out of that group. And just looking a bit deeper at some of the attributes of these players, maybe I should start to look and see if there's any big names available that we can pick up for this tournament, because we do have some spare wage, about £8,000 a week. I don't think any of these 2 players will be the big signings that we can make, but let's just add them to the shortlist. But maybe before we kick on into the game in today's episode, which to be fair isn't the biggest deal, it's a Southern League game against Dunedin, just thought we'd throw in there around the timing of this Club World Cup draw. But let's just see what we can find with the players in range. If we cut this down to people interested in a transfer who are doubtful, and also let's sort out here the nation as well. Might just take a bit of time here to sort this out properly. And then I've done, then a few more interesting names do pop up on top of the list. Thiago Almada. Now he is a World Cup winner. He could be quite useful. Still looks pretty decent in terms of technicals and mentals. Kind of looks like Lionel Messi currently in the MLS. Not much physically, but technically and mentally, he could do something really good for us. Is retiring, wins that at the end of the year. I might offer him a trial and see if he wants to sign for Cashmere Tech in time for the Club World Cup. Free kick taking will be 18, you'd imagine, with that range they've given us. That could be quite useful from dead ball situations. The man who was at Atlanta United for quite a while in this save, then for some reason went to Rangers before ending his career at Newell's Old Boys, albeit hopefully not. He might come to Cashmere Tech. So Thiago Almada, definitely someone we could bring in, raise the profile of the club before we make our way to that Club World Cup. Also, we should probably switch this to players unattached as well. That would be quite useful, but definitely a free agent there, Almada. He could be a good pickup. And to be fair, we'll just have a look at the other players here, but not too sure if there is bigger names. Just looking at them attribute-wise, they don't quite look as good as Almada, the Uruguayans and the Argentinians. A few and below that as well who are retiring. Let's just see if there's a younger one. Blaise Coffee, a left back from Guinea. I don't think there's too much available, but if we could sign Thiago Almada, that would certainly make a statement before we make our way to the Club World Cup. So hopefully we'll get him on trial, because it does say he's sort of interested in joining us on a free. So maybe that's our big move before we get stuck in to the Club World Cup next week. And we've kind of got our man Thiago Almada off the back of sleeping on it, has agreed to join us here on trial at Cashmere Tech. So let's just have a look at what he might look like before we get stuck in later today to this game where we take on the Dunedin City Royals. Honestly, was hoping he might be a bit better in terms of his star rating, but let's just see what he might look like compared to someone like Lorenzo Janssen, because he will be playing for us central attacking midfield, albeit he could probably do a job up front as well. On the wings, probably not the greatest idea with those physicals, so I think might be taking over from our captain in Lorenzo Janssen if he did join us, which might be a bit controversial, but to be fair, Janssen, we can kind of afford to let him get a bit angry because he is still uncommitted for New Zealand, just like his backup in Max Caputo. Let's mess with the Australians and show them they should become New Zealanders. Let's just have a quick look here at the attributes. To be fair, quite even until the passing and technique, anticipation quite even. Janssen gets some back there in decisions, but then it goes back to Almada with flair off the ball and vision. Agility, as you'd expect with age gap, is in favour of Janssen. But to be fair, I think Almada does look the better player, and especially because Janssen is our regular free kick taker, actually scores a few here in New Zealand with a massive attribute there of 4. Almada between 17 and 19, so that could be very useful for the rest of the season, especially if we need to score some goals at the Club World Cup. So I think even though we don't know all about him just yet, I'm going to see if we can sign Thiago Almada for the Club World Cup, just in case there is a registration deadline for that competition. Let's make him a squad player instead of an impact sub, and let's just see if we can get this done. That's a good start now. We can't pay him that much. That's a bit too much. So maybe we actually give him a part-time contract with that wage that we do have spare in £8,000 a week. We can go up to 3.7k a week. So maybe let's start here around the 2 to 2.5k a week mark and see if that pleases him. Let's just go down here and knock this down a few times and see if he does want to join us. Also, let's lock in that that is part-time. And thankfully, he's agreed to join us with that exact deal. So that could be a very big signing for the Club World Cup here at Cashmere Tech. Thiago Almada might be joining us as a set-piece specialist, and a bit of a big profile name, which might even raise the reputation of the club, because no doubt he has way higher reputation than this entire club, and indeed that is the case. But now that we've done that, let's actually get into some football action in today's episode on the field, albeit not too sure how important it is. We just came back for this game seeing as it was off the back of that Club World Cup draw. We are going to take on the Dunedin City Royals, who currently sit in third in the Southern League. So to be fair, quite close to a top of the table clash. Quite surprisingly, Christchurch United actually have started the season off a bit slowly. As you'll see now, they've blown up the table instead of probably hide it with my face cam, but they're struggling. They're just behind here, the Coastal Spirit, a surprising team to see up in second. And to be fair, this is a clash of the two unbeaten teams. So Dunedin haven't lost the game so far in the Southern League, because I've just noticed they lost to Ferrymead Bays of all teams in the first round of the Chatham Cup, but maybe they're taking the league more seriously this season, trying to make their way into the National League, especially if Christchurch United do have a shock of the team who usually do make their way into the National League alongside us, but definitely a team that we should be beating. Now, I've played a couple of games off the back of that Champions League final, 3-0 over Otago Uni yet again, because I feel while we get going in this game, a late penalty in the first half, Castro put away, and a late double. 2 to Hotman de Villiers did tinker with a few things in that game to try and get us kicking on, and I think they worked when I did them late for de Hotman de Villiers. It could just be because he's been in good form, but the rotation players actually did quite well against the Phoenix Fourths. To be fair, it's the fourth choice team from Wellington Phoenix, so not too sure how much you should read into this, but we picked up a 6-1 win, a bit more convincing. Almost tempted to start playing these guys as my first team. The way they're going, they do seem to score more goals than our current first team, but we made some changes tactically going into that game. Now, to be fair, these might all get abandoned for the Club World Cup. Maybe we should go from a gegenpress to something like a direct counter-attack for that Club World Cup. But a couple of changes now. Both our wingbacks now are on attack, same with both our wingers. And I've just pulled Lorenzo Janssen in attacking midfield back to support. I did think that having both him and Zooms on attack might mean they get in the way of each other. I think I've seen that a few times in the match engine with those mentalities when they do play like that. So a couple of changes, and also from the outset, we are going with an attacking mentality in position a bit wider and being more expressive. And also we're distributing the fullbacks from the get-go as well as centre-backs. So a couple of changes to our tactic, mainly for domestic games, because it has just felt like haven't quite been at our best here recently at Cashmere Tech. It worked before in the Chatham Cup. Hopefully it will do the same here against the Dunedin City Royals. Otherwise, we're going to be going to the Club World Cup a little bit scratchy, which is not ideal. Hopefully can put on a show here while Thiago Almada is in the stands eyeing up what hopefully will be his future club. And thankfully, no injuries as well, albeit Wiley Khalid is back from injury, but still making his way back properly. Only recommended for 45 minutes, so we won't be starting him. It will be Salcedo also coming back from injury instead. To be fair, Salcedo has done a brilliant job for us this season out at right wing, but hopefully can pick up a win here away from home over the Dunedin City Royals, and it might just help us get Thiago Almada over the line to sign for us for that Club World Cup. And here are the team sheets for the Southern League clash. It is the two unbeaten teams so far in this competition. Dunedin City Royals also going with a 4-2-3-1. One of our former players there at centre-back in Bailey Stevenson. And there we are, just the one change to our usual best 11, Salcedo in there with that minute restriction on Khalid coming back from injury. But hopefully a win here to build a nice gap before we head off to that Club World Cup. And just short of the 15-minute mark, the first highlight in this game, and it's unfortunately in favour of the home team so far. Stats-wise, we've been a bit better than we usually have, at least in terms of recently, and they were on the attack, but thankfully Chris Greenidge there doing a bit of defensive work, surprisingly, gets a block on that and tracks back nicely to control, and now we make our way out from back. Nice pass there to Salcedo to get us inside the opposition half, albeit, as I say that, goes all the way back to Arce and now to Sam Clark, but he does quite well. Jinks away there, get us on the front foot. Now Salcedo makes his way inside the box, left-footed finish, a wonderful curving one into that top left corner, and he's really staking a claim to keep that right wing spot over Walid Khalid, despite the fact that he is coming back from injury. To be fair, I think Salcedo, based on numbers, might be in better form this season, even with that injury considered, but that is a really good finish with his left foot to give us a 1-0 lead. And only a few minutes off the back of that opening goal now is a throw for us here, albeit it is the deep inside of our own half, so hopefully can find a way to make our way out from this and maybe grab an early cushion goal, which would be quite nice because we have struggled this season a little bit in these domestic games to put teams away until quite late. Big deflection there, but Salcedo still gets on the ball and jinks inside wonderfully. Similar chance to before, but this time can't quite put it into that bottom left corner a bit straighter at the goalkeeper. Still forces him into a diving save, but Salcedo looking quite threatening early on. Let's see what happens from this corner. Debenham puts this far post for Arce, but that header goes well over the bar. Still 1-0 Cashmere. And going forward 10 minutes from that previous chance, now a free kick here, Lorenzo Janssen with that massive 4 free kick. Taking that one does go quite close, but unfortunately doesn't quite hit the target there. You can see the stats definitely all over them, which is quite good. That's the first time that's happened in a little while here at Cashmere Tech, so it feels like those changes I've made technically are working, albeit if we do have Thiago Almada, that free kick probably goes into Janssen. He's almost on trial here just to see if we do need Almada for that Club World Cup. But Salcedo plays that one in for Janssen, makes up for the free kick by poking that one home. To be fair, I think even my grandma can score that one, and that is a pretty easy finish there for Janssen to put that one away. Good work from Salcedo. He picks up an assist to go alongside his goal. Nice ball there. I think it was from Sam Clark, who picked him out. To be fair, Janssen, good little toe on that one. Does wrong foot the goalkeeper and makes it 2-0. Just before halftime, Louis Evans probably going to come off here at halftime on a yellow card. Now Janssen with a free kick, and that one does actually get tipped over by the goalkeeper. So as you can see, he's not too bad at free kicks, but considering his attribute is 4 and the bloke we might be signing Almada is around 18, that could be quite useful if not for the Club World Cup and for the domestic competitions. Could help us get a few more goals, but as you can see stats-wise there, that was a really good first half at Dunedin. Have done nothing so far in this game. We'll take off Evans on that yellow card for Jack Honey. I think he's a bit more natural as a ball wing midfielder than Tristan Turner, but very happy with how this is going. Looks like our changes are making us a bit more dominant than we've been in our last couple of games. 2-0 up at halftime. And very early on here in the second half, there's a corner here to Dunedin. They try and put this one far post, but Arce gets the hit on there, and Zoomers will go out right to claim that. Our striker just controls things here before playing it for Tahani, the freshman off the bench. Can he do something nice and sweet with his footwork here in the second half? Not quite yet, because of course he's a defensive midfielder. Probably not what we want him to do, but we eventually get the ball into the opposition half. Janssen was on it there, a bit loose on the ball. Thiago Almada, a lot more flair. I really want him now that we've actually put a bid in for him, even though it does seem like a mental signing. It would be quite fun having Thiago Almada before he does retire. A World Cup winner. Now Greenidge on the ball once we clear our lines there after Cifuentes did cover that ball, which did go in behind from Dunedin, and we eventually get it out there to Debenham. He finds Sam Clark inside the box, takes on a shot from a tight angle, but beats the goalkeeper from it into the top right corner, beats him near post. That makes it 3-0, and that is the goal which should put this game to bed. And thankfully, we've done it a bit earlier than we have the last couple of games we've played. So quite happy with the tactical changes we made for that most recent game in the Chatham Cup. Looks like it's working for the first team as well as our second team. Sam Clark gives us a 3-0 lead. And just about to make our way into the last 15 minutes of this game, we're going to make our last couple of subs while we are here. To be fair, second half hasn't been up too much off back of that early goal to Sam Clark. We'll bring on Castro. The Zoomers going fairly, and also Chris Greenidge. We could bring on to Hotman de Villiers in some quite good form, give him some reward for that. That's our last couple of subs. 3-0 with just over 15 minutes left. And we eventually get another highlight here in the second half. And again, there's a free kick for Lorenzo Janssen. Put this away, because I know Thiago Almada's watching. He can probably do better than that, Lorenzo. That's not the greatest effort, still very dominant in this game. Dunedin have got a few more shots off in the second half. I say a few more wouldn't be hard. They had none in the first half, but none on target, and we've had quite a few on target, so a really good display from us here in this game. A little bit disappointing we haven't scored more goals with 11 shots on target, but that is definitely a sign of improvement from what we were putting out in previous games, albeit the likes of Western Suburbs are a lot better than Dunedin City, but still, that's a very dominant display that we've put out there. Quite happy with how that went, so I think we'll go with that for domestic games for a little while. That just might be enough of a change for FM to get us back in our form that we usually find ourselves in here at Cashmere Tech. It might be a bit aggressive for the Club World Cup, but it's what our guys know. It's close to what we use with New Zealand, and we overperform pretty well with those guys, but that now gives us a 6-point gap on top of the Southern League off the back of that 3-0 win over the Dunedin City Royals. And I think that will do things for today's episode. Good win there over Dunedin, and also we have in the works that transfer for Thiago Almada. Let's hope that that one does go through before the Club World Cup squad does need to be finalised. To be fair, I should probably go and actually check on when that is with the competition and find the right page, because I haven't checked that just yet. And also if we can find some other players before then, because hopefully it might just kick in June at some time, registration, and that might mean we can pick up some other players who are going to be leaving their clubs over in Europe, because that is going to be happening at the end of June. Let's just see the rules. It does. Once we find it, need to be 30 players registered by Thursday the 28th of May. So quite lucky that we just put that bit in there for Thiago Almada. Otherwise, he might not decide in time if he wants to join. But hopefully he'll be here for the Club World Cup, and we'll get stuck into that next week. Over in Spain, there'll probably be a few bus trips, because to be fair, I don't think we've done too much over there so far in this save, and we'll take on the 3 teams in our group in El Hilal, Deportivo Guadalajara, and Flamengo. Let's see if we can pick up a win. Probably if we do, it'll be that second game, and just see if we can sneak a draw off one of the other two and maybe sneak our way through into the knockouts. But that will do it for today's episode. The draw there for the Club World Cup, and also a random Southern League game just for the heck of it. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. As I said, we'll come back early next week and get stuck into that FIFA Club World Cup for the first time here at Cashmere Tech. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.